Okay, so we had some selling pressure in the market yesterday. Um, Often when market runs up in anticipation of some news that participants believe will be good for the market, once that news occurs, you get some natural selling. I don't think it was anything to write home about, but it was a pretty clean down move. Uh, First move was down on the open. We took out the small range from the prior day, and we closed at the low. So now we're gapping up right below kind of this little area I drew from yesterday, prior day's consolidation range. So we want to see if we fail here. If we do, we come back down to support from yesterday. If we actually got below that, start to hold, that would kind of be interesting. And you probably have to deal with this area right here as the next support, 266.70s. So that's that. If we're holding above 268 and we break to the upside, we'll watch to see if we take out yesterday, the last 2 days high, new all-time high. IWM. Okay, so IWM failed at the prior day's high pretty much exactly. And filled the gap. Here was the gap fill. People were waiting for that. That's why it spiked right back up when it hit there. Eventually went below it. Now we're gapping up, but it's relatively weak compared to the SPYs, right? So I would say 150, 380 to 154. I'd watch that area right here. And if you see it below 153, it takes out that after hours low. Brings 152 back into play. Okay, so what is going on? So I'll give you just a very quick recap. I talked to some of the top traders on the desk yesterday. I don't think, no one on the desk, and certainly probably almost no one that I'm talking to right now that's not on the desk listening to this, traded during the internet bubble. What we're seeing right now in the cryptocurrency market, fueled by Bitcoin going up, 1,000% in the last 6 months or whatever it's been, is creating a mania, a bubble. And it's interesting. You have to think about this differently from a trading standpoint. So one of the things on our desk is the majority of guys make a lot of money on these low flow, low price stocks that are worthless, that go from $1 to $5 and then back down to $1 or zero, or whatever. But this is a little bit different. What we're seeing now, or it's a lot different actually. What you're seeing now is twice in the last week we were involved in names that went from the single digits to the triple digits, so $5 to 100 plus. Some of you probably saw that LFIN did that a couple of days ago. And then instead of going right back down at $10, $20, it's at 80 this morning. The other one was that Universal Blockchain, which is extremely thin, but one of our traders was long it from $10 or $15. That went also to 100. You're going to start to see that more frequently. The shift is that now retail people who have been out of the market, they saw the internet bubble burst, and they saw the financial crisis. They're tired of getting killed in the market. But now greed has kicked in for a number of people. And so you're going to see stocks like this, which I started watching, down at 10 a few minutes ago, just go up to 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever. And so it's important, a couple of things. Obviously, on day one, on a lot of these names, you're always going to get long, not look to short. But also the other thing is, instead of thinking about what might be not a normal move, but a very large move, it's not a very large move anymore. So it's now gone from $8 to 10, 10 to 15. It might come back down at 12 or $10 and then go to 20 or 30. And then tomorrow go to 50. So, and with the retail people coming in, there's a lot, there's going to just be a lot of volume. And so this stock normally trades 600,000 shares a day. It's already done 1.2 million. Excellent. So that's how you do it. So Aaron said in the chat he got long at 775. maybe you sold a little bit now, wait for it to come in, consolidate. There's really no way of, you can look at the daily chart and you can kind of see where has it been. And the other thing is, just remember, most of these companies that are doing these press releases, the executives of these companies are the shadiest people. The fact that they're able to list on the exchanges, don't get in trouble with the SEC, most of them, or the self-regulatory agencies is incredible. But like, obviously this company was 1,200, went down to 5. These are the types of charts you're going to see on the companies that's saying, oh, now we're trading Bitcoin, now we're mining Bitcoin, now we're doing something with the blockchain. It has no basis in reality 99% of the time. But what they're trying to do is get their stock price back up, raise some money, and then who knows, maybe they'll get lucky and be able to have a successful business. Unlikely. But in the meantime, people look at this chart and they're like, oh, this was a $120 stock in 2015. Let's see if we can push it back up to 20 or 40. And then if more people notice it and they talk about it on CNBC or wherever, and it gets above 40, then maybe one day it'll go back to 120, and then it'll go back to 20 the next week or 2 weeks later, or whatever the case may be. From short-term trading standpoint, this is phenomenal. Obviously, for less experienced traders, it's dangerous. It's very easy to get long something that's going up a lot like this, and it drops out 10%, and you get stopped at. People, you may see a hard red bar, you may short the retracement, and it doesn't roll over, and then quickly there's no liquidity, and you lose 10% on the short side when you've seen even a signal. And so it's going to be more dangerous. So you have to be extremely disciplined and take your losses as quickly as you can, and then just get back in. Unless you're riding something up. I don't know. I haven't tried to locate it yet. I've been thinking about the long side. It's a good question. It has pretty good volume, so I would think that we would be able to locate it. Let me see. It's 1.5 cents a share, so $15 per thousand for us to get it, which is not bad. So that's that. So that's the general point, and that was already on the list as number 2. So I think I put in there 17 as 19 as resistance, and that was when it was at 10. And it's got there already in about the last 15 minutes. So there you go. It's almost hit our second resistance level, and here's a 2-minute chart. So went from $12 to, and there's the second target hit. And it did that in 10 minutes, $12 to $19. So perfect example that we have to look at right now in real time. That's what's going on in the market right now. Your P&L is going to fluctuate quite a bit. The thing is to control the downside as best as you can, and understand that just mathematically there is a lot more opportunity on the long side. Yes, things will go back down and there'll be a lot of money on the short side, but when a stock goes from 6 to 60, just by definition, you put $6,000 in, you can make over $50,000. When it's up at 50 and you're shorting and putting $50,000 in, the most you can make if it goes to 0 is 100% on your money. So if you put the same $50,000 in down at $8 and buy 6,000 shares, you can do the math. Even if you just held half of it in this move right here, you've made just as much as you would shorting 1,000 shares at 50 if it went to 0. So that's just the simple math on that. So let's quickly go through the other stocks. SFIX. So this one, the numbers looked okay. I think why it's down is what I noticed was they lowered the EBITDA, even though they raised revenue. But that could be, just heavy investment right now. I don't really think it should go below here. And if it catches a bid, it's obviously been a very strong stock. Consolidated. It hasn't been able to get above 25 a bunch of times since it IPO'd. So, I guess first thing is if it rallied, I would want to see it failed up here at recent support. And then I'd look for a move down to kind of the support area and look for it to bounce back up from in here. The next one is SSC, which is the third one on the list. Just another, blockchain bullshit. Obviously not as good as NETE, but it could, it showed some signs. It went from 2 to 5, back down to 2, then to 8. So let's go to the daily on this one to see what we got. Okay, so back in 2014, so this is where it is now, kind of, right? Did this. And it went to 10 back in 2011. And then it's another one, right? Here, back in 2000, during the financial crisis, it was a $3,000 stock. So again, shady companies fits the pattern. Shady companies, low price, low float, press release, cryptocurrency, blockchain, attract people, craziness. And this one obviously hasn't gotten as crazy as yet, so maybe it's even more shady and people are more skeptical about this one. And so it hasn't gone as wild as NET yet. But still, if it consolidates here above $6, it's really tight, and it breaks to the upside, you buy it, and you see what happens. Does it go up to 8? Does it actually take out that 8 and go to 10? Does it close at the highs? You take it out overnight, it gaps up. Yeah, you make more money. That's the sector, how the market is behaving in the sector that we're talking about right now. It's not even really a sector, it's just companies that say they're in a certain sector. Some of them are in the blockchain crypto sector, but 80-90% of them are just going to be people that put out a press release saying that they're in that sector. And Red Hat, here's a real company that's been in a strong uptrend this year. So this one hasn't quite doubled this year, but revenue and earnings growth is driving this, not the Fed. So this one's already come back quite a bit. What do we have here? I have 128. We got above, oh, no, we're not one above 128. 128 is our first resistance. And then kind of this, it's more like, it's like one, yeah, it is 129 to 30. So, initial action was selling. They bought it in the 122s. This morning we come in, it's gapping up above kind of the bounce high. So this is the first real resistance. If it came back down to 124, that would be interesting to me. I did put that on the, so below that I put 120. So the idea is this: if it comes back up here, fails here, you want to trade it short, at least back down to here, see how it behaves on a pull-in. If it actually comes off hard to 124, I want to see if there are bids there, because that's kind of where it got to in the after hours bounce last night. If it fails at 124 or has a very weak bounce from there and then gets below it, then yeah, people are going to think after hours low. But I kind of think if it takes that out after this, if it comes off $4 from there, I really think that 120 would be more in play, and mainly because it's just run up so much this year. The numbers were good. As I said, solid. They hit small raise, but it failed up here recently pretty hard. It went from 129 to 122.30, which I guess is where they bought it in the after hours yesterday. And then after gapping up, they sold it even harder. It took a low. Yeah, it went below 120. So that's kind of the area I'd be targeting. If it's showing real weakness, I'd be looking for it to come all the way into this here. SSC is above $7 now. We just talked about it. And then quickly, second day stuff. Dry ships. Pretty surprised by the fact that it could close above $96. Got stopped out of most of my short, I guess, here. I have a few shares left. I want to see on the open what it does here at 96 to 95.70. That's kind of where it broke out from at the end of the day. See if it comes in a little bit here, and if institutions are willing to buy it higher. It's not a momentum stock, so it'll be interesting to see if it kind of pulls in a bit today. NAV came off pretty hard from the open, from 47.5. I covered most of it into 45. It did rally back up to 46.50. Let's go to the 5-minute here. Didn't quite get to the morning high and a lower high here. The way I'm thinking about this is I want to use 45 and kind of 46 as my areas. If it's holding below 45 short, it's holding above 46, you can play it long, but just be a little bit careful when it gets into the 50 cent area. Apple, I held a few shares short from 175. I was shorting it on the open, like first shorted on the open, covered, got long actually. Shorted again above 75, covered into the morning support again. I wasn't around, I don't think, the last 2 times it got to 75, but it worked again. It was in basically a 75-cent range for most of the day. And it's gapping up with the market this morning. So, and it's already actually moved back inside of the range. So I'm going to continue to watch kind of what it does in relation to this range. So, yeah, so this general rule, you may have heard me say this once or twice in the morning meeting before, those have taken some of our training programs. Once you have a range, no matter what time frame you're trading in, the 1 minute chart, 15, daily, weekly, whatever, putting on trades in the middle of a range in the time frame you're trading is just disaster waiting to happen, because you get more random action in the middle of ranges. You want to actually, once you kind of see the top and the bottom of the range, you want to fade near the tops and the bottoms. And you had an opportunity 2 more times. You could have done that on both sides of the range multiple times the rest of the day. So, and generally speaking, the opening high and then the opening low, those are the starting points for an intraday range. Getting close to the open, so be patient and good luck.
Hope you enjoyed that video. You can actually watch that video if you're subscribed to our Trader 90 before the market even opens. What stocks are in play? What levels in those stocks are important? And how we might go about attacking that stock. That's Steve Spencer, 20-year veteran trader, laying it out there every morning before the market even opens. A really, really powerful tool to start your session off on the right foot. So right now we're offering a trial that you can take advantage of to access this meeting and other meetings throughout the day. We have a meeting at 11 a.m. Eastern where you can sit down with Mike Bellafiore and listen to him talk about what's going on during the morning session, what stocks were in play, what the best trade opportunities were, as well as maybe some things that we're looking at heading into the afternoon session. So I really encourage you to take advantage of that trial.